Hello YouTube, good day to you. Got ourselves a 2004 Chevrolet Corvette. I've had this car in the shop before. It's been a few months, but it was here for a broken shift lever, I think, or the shift cable broke on it. I'll leave a link down in the description if you guys want to check that video out. But the fella is here today with 34,100 miles on it and a check engine light. So I'm going to plug in the scanning device and see what's going on here. All right, let's pull up the engine code menu and see what we have stored in the powertrain module. Okay, we've got a P1133 HO2 sensor, bank 1, sensor 1, insufficient switching. Okay, I've got all four O2s pulled up. We've got bank 1, sensor 1, that's pre-cat. Bank 2, sensor 1, that is pre-cat. Bank 1 sensor 2 and bank 2 sensor 2. Both of these are post-cat sensors, and those are there to monitor the efficiency of the catalytic converter. Now, the definition of the trouble code said that the bank 1 sensor 1 is not switching efficiently or correctly. Switching refers to the up and down voltage that you're seeing on these two graphs up here. I'm going to give this a little throttle, and we're going to monitor this over time, see what's going on with this. Let's see if bank 1 is slow to react or if it drops out, something like that. So right now we're at high idle at about 1300 RPMs. We see here that the bank 2 O2 sensor is fluctuating rapidly, but we see the bank 1 sensor is switching, but it is not switching with the swing compared to sensor 2. And at this RPM, we would be simulating in-town driving conditions, or like a slow roll, for example. Let's bump up the RPMs and see how the graph responds. Okay, I'm up to about 1800 RPMs. And it is still hovering kind of high here. All right, I want to go ahead and back out and take a look at the fuel trims and make sure we're not running lean on one of the banks. So I'll pull up engine data. All right, pulling up engine data, I've got short terms and long terms here on bank 1, and it looks like the long term is pulling fuel away slightly. Let's go ahead and idle this up again and see if short terms go into the negative. Yeah, short terms went positive. Interesting. They're all fluctuating, hovering around 0. Fuel trims are actually in good shape. This is all looking good right here. Okay, let's go ahead and back out. Just for fun, I'll check for misfires and any misfire history. Let's see. There's history on 2, and there was a current on 2 just a second ago. Could have just been a fluke. I'm not too concerned with 1 or 2. If you see 50, 60, 100, 300, 500, something like that over here, then you know you've got something going on, but I don't have much for misfire history. Okay, that's a dead end. Let's go ahead and back out of this menu. Okay, time to swing this into the shop. Let's get it up in the air, take a look at the sensors, make sure everything's looking good there, and let's check out the engine for any kind of intake leaks. I'm a little stumped at what's going on here because it seems to be functioning like it should be, and I'm reluctant to condemn this O2 sensor. That looks good. So I want to go ahead and get a visual inspection on everything and see what we've got to work with here. Pretty. Corvette up. Now the history report for this car shows that about 6 months ago, that upstream O2 sensor on the driver's side on bank 1 was already replaced. So there in fact could be a defective O2 causing this trouble code. All right, let's find our O2s. Okay, here's our catalytic converter. Here is the upstream O2. You can see up there where the wires are protruding, they look fairly good and everything looks clean. It appears to be connected. And let's go over here to the passenger side. We can see that this sensor is a little bit older. It may be the original to the car. What I'm going to do for a real quick science experiment is just swap these O2 side to side and head back into the scan tool and check out the graph at that point. If the low fluctuating graph switches over to bank 2, then we know that that sensor in fact is faulty and will have to be replaced again under warranty. So I'm gonna let this cool off for a minute, and we're gonna switch sides here and see what kind of results we get. Okay, so we're on the passenger side right now, and this thing's still pretty warm, but I want to get some progress made here. What I'm gonna do, this is by the way, this is the known good sensor. This is not the one that was tripping the code for a faulty sensor. So like I said earlier, what I'm gonna do is unplug this guy and remove it and swap it over to the other side, and then go back to the scan tool and compare the graphs to see if the low switching sensor moves over to bank 2 or if it stays on bank 1. That's going to tell me if I have a sensor problem or if I have a problem with the intake stream or a different component, in which case I will have to spend some time to diagnose that situation. But this is to rule out a faulty new part. Okay, she's unplugged. Looking at the connector, that's good in there. And let's go fetch an O2 sensor tool and reach up there and get this disconnected. That's the O2 sensor socket. It's got a slit in it to pass over the wire, and then it will drop down over the sensor to remove. I gotta be a little careful, it's kind of warm in here. Nice, broke loose very easily. Okay, I got it on a thicker glove to protect myself from burning myself. I'm just kind of spinning this thing out. Oh, I'm already feeling the heat, but I got it. Ooh, just in time. All right, let's go over here to the driver's side and pop this sensor out next. Forgive the lighting, you guys. It's kind of cramped working space up here. I barely have room for the hands. Where's that plug go? Hang on, we're all tangled up. There. Okay, and again, same tool, and I'll spin this sensor out and then swap them over. Come on, get on there. Here we go. Ooh, there's a hole in my glove and this is a little warm. Almost out. I almost got it. I'm gonna get another glove on and switch hands. All right, she's out. You can see here the patina difference between the two units. This one's a lot shinier than the other one. And there's a difference in wire color. We got purple and browns and whites and grays. And taking a peek at the connectors, you can see that they are identical connectors, so the swap over will work as a way to test this out. Okay, time to reverse procedure. I'll spin in the sensor that came from the passenger side. We'll give it some tightening down torque. And then I'll throw in the suspected faulty sensor. Then we can let her down and review the engine data via the graph. I'm hoping I can tighten this down with just a wrench so I don't have to go through all that effort by installing those other tools. Oh, I think I can get it. Yep, I can get it. There, one more click. There it is. Okay. Let's plug this bad boy in and move back over to the other side. Before we go, just note off camera, I've installed the connector locks and placed the connectors back on their clips. So we are done on this side of the car. Everything over here is set up and I won't need to revisit this area again. Okay, back to the passenger side we go. Come on, threads, catch. Got him. As I tighten this down, I've got to manipulate the pigtail on it because it starts to twist. And as it twists, I can no longer tighten it. So I've got to periodically pull the twist out of it. Okay. All right, that one I cannot get a wrench on, so I'll reuse the O2 sensor socket here. There's just not enough offset to get a good purchase on the fastener. Click. And gloves. It's still warm in there. Holy smokers. Okay, it's plugged in. Let's let her down and go check our data. Don't want to smash my cart. And Corvette coming down. All right, let's fire it up, see what we got. Restarting the engine. All right, let's get back into sensor data. All right, made it down here to the O2s. Let's switch this into graphing mode, 4 graphs. And let's see what we have going on. Okay, there's bank 1, sensor 1, bank 2, sensor 1. This is our suspected faulty sensor. So I'm gonna go ahead and idle it up, just like we did earlier out in the parking lot. And we're gonna see what these graphs look like. We are at 1800 RPMs. As soon as I can stabilize it. Come on, 18, that's where we started. There we go, 1800 right here. And I'm just gonna hold. And I'm gonna do this for about a minute or so. But we can see how this graph is trending with a limited switching on bank 2, sensor 1. So this is, at this point, confirming that that newish sensor is not performing as designed. Alrighty, Fast forwarded about 1 more minute, and the trend continues here. This graph is favoring the higher voltage side, and I'm not getting any dips down as far as I am on the known good sensor, which is bank 1 sensor 1. So what we have here is a faulty sensor on bank 2. All right, time to go order another unit, and we'll get that thing swapped out again, and then we will revisit the graphs one more time just to verify that the problem has been solved. So stand by, gotta go order parts. Alrighty, so my new sensor has arrived. It is a AC Delco unit. The one that we put in was a Bosch unit that I have deemed to have been defective. So let's pop this old Bosch one out and get it swapped with the new one. Had some time for this thing to cool off, so I'm really not concerned about any burns right now. Oh, come out. Come on. We can even see here there's a construction difference, very slight one. This is the Delco, this is the Bosch unit. And moving around to the connectors, we'll just review those one more time to make sure they are correct. Oh no, and they are not correct. Wait, I'm silly, I have this upside down. Okay, connectors are right. I was referencing this little tang in between two of the prongs. Yeah, this one's gonna work. So let's get her threaded in. Oh, and I already installed some copper anti-seize lubricant on the threads. Note that you don't want to overdo that lube right there, because if it contaminates the sensor, it will damage the sensor. There's the threads. They caught. I got it. Let's give it a quick click with my hand torque wrench and plug it in. One more. Click. Come on, this wire has to go behind the other so that I could install this clip right here onto the frame rail. So it's kind of a tight squeeze. Oh, my boy got the phone, 2 rings. Good man. And there's a hole in the frame for that tab to stick into that I can't see. There it is. Okay. All right, let's let her down, fire it up, and check the scan tool data. All right, squeezing back in this thing, stopping the engine again. And let's start communicating now, please. Okay, it immediately went back to where we left off, except I need to scroll down to find my O2 data. Okay, we're back on that graph. We got bank 1 sensor 1, bank 2 sensor 1. This is the one we just replaced. And it's not talking to it at all. What? No way. Look at this. Nothing's even going on here. we're back to life now. Oh, you know what? We just went into closed loop fuel control. That's what happened here. Silly me, assuming. Yeah, we're in open loop right here, and it just switched into closed loop. I forgot that this thing had enough time to cool down, where this restart we had just done, it had to start off in open loop. That's looking good. Much better. See how these both of these graphs are nearly identical, and one of them doesn't have a smaller switching pattern than the other. This is what we're looking for. Let's give it a throttle blurb from idle. We're at idle right now. Graph went high, and wide open throttle blurb. Very good. All right, guys, I'm gonna call this one good. Okay, so before I call this one complete, I am gonna take it out on the road real quick. I've still got the scan tool attached to it, and I'm just gonna glance over and kind of monitor those O2s as we go through different driving RPMs and engine load changes. But at this point, I'm 99% positive that the problem has been solved, because I did witness a drastic change in the way those O2 sensors were responding. Seatbelt, click it or ticket. So a long-term viewer commented to me the other day and noticed that I've been commuting to work in my dually pickup, which that's my daily. My wife has the minivan, and some of you may have seen from another video, I've got that beat up old Suburban. But I don't drive that thing anymore, so it just kind of sits in my yard and grass grows around it. I need to get rid of it, but it's been low on my priorities of things to do. Anyway, this viewer had commented that since I'm commuting daily with a 1-ton truck, that perhaps I should look into something a little more economical, just to get back and forth to work with. And to tell you the truth, I really wouldn't mind having one of these Corvettes. And I know they're the plastic fantastic and everything, but you know, this is kind of right up my alley. I'm pushing 40 pretty soon, and when these cars first came out, I was just finishing high school, and they were unobtainium at that time. And I know there's far better Corvettes that I could get my hands on, but I don't want to spend, you know, $60,000, $80,000. I don't even have money like that to spend on a car. But one of these older vets, the early 2000s, and I know they're not economical, but it is much more fun to drive than that dually. But these early 2000s vets, they're going for 20 to 30, 35,000 in really good shape. This one, for example, that I'm in, it's got 34,000 miles on it. It was a garage queen and has lived in the garage and only came out on Sundays sometimes. I think something like this would be perfect just to shuttle myself back and forth to work with. And I always said to myself, maybe I'll have one of those one day when I grow up. I don't know if I'm grown up yet, but one of these could be cool to have. I wouldn't mind having one. But I need to, one of these days, add on to my house also, because it's kind of small for the number of kids that we have produced in the past 5 years. So, you know, this is one of those things where I can't really get myself anything. And realistically, it probably wouldn't be much more economical than my Silverado. I think that thing gets about 15 to the gallon, and these vets are probably right around that same level. Actually, I'm looking through the fuel usage monitor on this, and the average fuel econ for this particular vet is 12.6 miles per gallon. So maybe this guy has a little bit of fun with it on the weekends, because I've seen these get much better economy than 12.6. Yeah, I'll show you real quick. Take a look right there. Yeah, 12.6. That's the average. Instant right now we're at 29, and I'm doing what, 36 miles per hour. So yeah, that's my silly little soapbox for right now. Maybe I'll get myself a Corvette one day. Anyway, back to business. I've got, I still have the numbers pulled up in the scan tool, and forgive the camera work, I'm paying attention to what I'm driving and not so much the scanner. But you can see as we're going through different loads and different engine RPMs, those two O2 sensor graphs are fairly identical. You'll never see them to be exactly identical, but you don't want to see very large differences in what those graphs are doing. So based on all of that, I'm going to go ahead and feel 100% confident that I have found the problem, which was a faulty O2 sensor that had been replaced once before already. Alright guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. As always, if you like this video, please let me know about it by tapping that thumbs up button. If you didn't like this video or didn't like the procedure or anything that I did here, please feel free to let me know about that in the comment section down below. And of course, I would like to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. I truly do appreciate it. And I would also like to remind you to not forget to have yourself a great day. Take care, everyone. See you later. And not for frills, but for scientific purposes, I'm going to give this a little bit of wide open throttle. There we go. And brakes. Oh, there's a state patrol cop like right there. Somebody, oh, don't come over here. I'll leave. Oh, that was, I'm glad I got off of that one. He could have busted my butt pretty bad. I made it to 60 in a 45. Ruh-roh. Oh well, he didn't catch me, so no crime was committed there. But anyway, if we review that scan tool data here, we can see that even under a full throttle event, my O2s were fairly in sync with each other, thus confirming the fix for sure through all aspects of the throttle range. So we're good to go. Back in the parking lot. I'm gonna get this thing backed in and see what else I can do with my day today. See you guys later. Thanks for watching. And of course, I must clear the trouble codes before I go. And check engine light off. DTC is cleared. All set. Powering down. See you later, little black Corvette.